So in this lecture, we'll discuss vector fields for two-dimensional systems. So first, we'll start with linear time invariant systems, and then we'll go into nonlinear autonomous system and see some examples there. Now, why we are seeing this linear system as an example first? Because certain nonlinear systems about their equilibrium points can be approximated as linear systems, which means in some neighborhood or in some close proximity about the equilibrium points of certain nonlinear systems, the behavior of the nonlinear system may be linear, approximately linear. Okay, and then from this approximation, we can predict how the solutions are possibly going to evolve if they start in the neighborhood of these equilibrium points, and whether the equilibrium points under consideration would be stable or unstable. How can we classify such equilibrium points? Okay, so since we are considering a two-dimensional linear time invariant system of the form x dot equal to ax, this A is essentially a 2 cross 2 real matrix which will have two eigenvalues lambda 1 and lambda 2. Now the possibilities that will be present as far as the eigenvalues lambda 1 and lambda 2 are concerned are these. These possibilities that I'll be discussing omits the fact that lambda 1 or lambda 2 or both of them can be 0. Okay, so either lambda 1 is 0, either lambda 2 is 0, or both lambda and lambda 2 are 0. So these possibilities, I'll actually leave it up to you to explore and find out how the vector fields would look like and how the phase portrait for such systems will essentially look like. Okay, so X is a 2 cross 1 vector as shown. Now the cases that we'll see in this lecture are the following. The two eigenvalues are real, both of them are negative, and they are distinct. Basically, they are not equal to each other. The next would be they are real, they are positive, and are not equal to each other. The third case would be they are real and they are equal to each other and they are negative. So, whatever we see for the third case, from there you can actually figure out what would happen when the eigenvalues are positive and are equal. Okay. The next case that we'll see is when both of them are real, but one of them is negative and the other one is positive. The last three cases, which is case 5, 6, and 7, will pertain to eigenvalues when they are complex. Now, since we have a real system in hand, A is a real 2 cross 2 matrix. If one of the eigenvalues lambda 1 is complex, then lambda 2 will be a complex conjugate of lambda 1. Okay, so they will occur in complex conjugate pairs. So the first case would be when both the eigenvalues are complex and the real part of the eigenvalue is 0. The eigenvalues are complex and the real part of eigenvalues would be negative. This is the next case, and the last case that we will explore is when the eigenvalues are complex and the real part of the eigenvalue are positive. Okay, so let's see the first case. When both the eigenvalues are positive, so as an example, if you take x dot equal to minus 2, 0, 0, minus 3x, in this case, what you observe is x1 dot is going to be minus 2x and x2 dot is going to be minus 3x in this particular case. So if this is a point in the if this is a point that you have in the phase space, then this would be basically the vector minus 2x, and this would be the vector minus 2x1, and this would be the vector minus 3x2. So the resultant vector is essentially going to be this. Okay, so at every point you will be able to plot this vector, and for this example that I am taking, the vector field is actually going to look like this. Okay, so when you can verify that for any system whose eigenvalues are going to be real and non-repeating. Okay, so or they are not same, so lambda 1 and lambda 2 being negative with lambda 1 not equal to lambda 2, you'll have the vectors such that the trajectories, you will have the vector field such that it indicates the state trajectory will evolve as to going towards the origin. So here, if you see the black curve, it is the initial condition is this, and the vectors. If you see the vectors along which it is evolving, you see that it is moving towards the origin, which is the equilibrium point in this case. So if you equate the equation ax to be equal to 0, you can find that x equal to 0 comma 0 is the equilibrium point, and the trajectories that will start at any point on the state space will always have a motion towards the equilibrium point. Okay, so I have shown four trajectories from four different initial conditions. They are all ending up near the equilibrium point. If you see, let's say if you start from here, then with the vectors pointing like this, you will finally end up near the equilibrium point. Okay, so if you start here, you will actually end up near the equilibrium, end up at the equilibrium point. But of course, you reach the equilibrium point only as t approaches infinity. Okay, now observe what happens for initial conditions when the initial condition says that you start on the x1 axis. So suppose you start here and this initial condition is 5 comma 0. In this case, you will continue evolving along the, for this particular system we see that it continues to evolve along the x1 axis only. Okay, similarly if you start on the x2 axis, let's say here, you see that the trajectory will evolve along the x axis only in this particular example. But what you observe is in this particular case, uh, that at any point you start, as I said, your trajectories are eventually going towards the origin. Okay, so and also if you compute the eigen values which are minus 2 minus 3, the corresponding eigenvectors would be 1 0 and 0 1. So if you form a coordinate axis with respect to 1 0 and 0 1, what you observe is the four spaces that you get, which is quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4, because of the eigenvectors 1 0 and 0 1. If a solution trajectory starts in one of the quadrants, then the trajectory remains in the same quadrant while moving towards the equilibrium point. Similarly, if you had any general matrix A whose eigenvalues are negative and are distinct from each other, then they'll have some corresponding eigenvectors v1 and v2. Now, if you use the vectors v1 and v2 to define the coordinate axis for the states for the phase plane, then what you observe is if a trajectory start, if the initial condition is within a region, within one particular region between the axis. So suppose in one, I not say quadrant, but let's say equivalently to quadrant. So let's say if v1 axis is this and let's say v2 axis is this. Okay, so this is v1 axis and let's say this is v2 axis. So if you start at a point here, then the trajectory will actually move towards origin without crossing over to any other region of or any other section defined by v1 v2. Okay, so since all the trajectories are moving towards origin, we name this origin to be stable. Okay, and since the trajectories here are not crossing the sections in which they are actually starting, and this is true for all the trajectories, so we name the equilibrium point as node. So the equilibrium point 0 0 here is essentially a stable node. Okay. So now moving on to the next case, when the eigenvalues are essentially positive, when all eigenvalues are positive and distinct, in that case again the 0 0 is the equilibrium point. But now notice the difference that you see here. When the eigenvalues were negative, the arrows were pointing towards the origin in a direction so that the trajectory evolves towards the origin. But when the eigenvalues are positive, in all sections you see that the arrows are pointing such that the trajectories move away from the origin. So in this case, for the red trajectory, it started here and it is moving away from the origin. Similar thing is observed for black, for this brown trajectory, and for the sap green trajectory. Okay, everyone. So wherever you initialize, no matter how close you are to the origin, your trajectories will evolve and will move away from the equilibrium point, in this case, which is the origin. Okay, so the equilibrium point that you have is 0 0, and because of this behavior we call this as a unstable equilibrium point. Okay, so there are directions in which if you start arbitrarily close, it will actually move away. Now also observe that if a trajectory starts in a particular section, then it sticks to that section. You never crosses the section. For example, here in the example that we have taken, the eigenvectors corresponding to the eigenvalues 2 and 3 are nothing but 1 0 and 0 1. So the axes are defined as the x1 axis is defined by the eigenvector 1 0, x2 axis as the eigenvector 0 1. And you observe that if it starts for example, the black trajectory, it starts in one particular section, the first section defined by v1 and v2, it always stays in that section. In general, for a matrix of the form x dot equal to ax, if lambda 1 and lambda 2 are positive and non-distinct, and let's say v1 and v2 are the corresponding eigenvectors which define the axis for the state space or the phase plane that you have, then if a trajectory starts inside a phase plane, then it will never starts inside the section, when one of the sections of v1 and v2, then the trajectory always stays inside that particular section. Okay, so again, so hence this property makes this equilibrium point to be also labeled as node. Okay, so here it becomes an unstable node. So when you have distinct eigenvalues with when you have distinct eigenvalues which are negative, then you have a, stable node. When you have distinct eigenvalues which are positive, then you have a unstable node. Okay, now let's see what happens when eigenvalues are same but they are negative. Okay, so consider the example that I have shown here, which is minus 2 0 0 minus 2 multiplied by x. So a is that. So what you observe again is, because of the negative eigenvalues, the arrows or the vectors are such that the solutions will evolve towards the uh, equilibrium point, which is origin again in this particular case. But now notice, if you compare it for the case when you had distinct eigenvalues with the case you have same eigenvalues, then in such a case what happens is you essentially see trajectories which are straight lines. They are lines, they are straight lines from the initial point to the origin. Okay, so the trajectories will evolve along those straight lines. For example, in this case, if you start at this particular if black trajectory started at this particular point, so it is, if the trajectory is evolving along a straight line that connects the initial point to the origin. It will reach origin asymptotically as t approaches infinity, but that is how it will evolve. But when the eigenvalues are different, then in that case, if you see the solution here, there is a slight curving. It is not along the straight line that joins the initial condition and the origin, but rather there is a slight curve that you see. Okay, it bends. That is because of the unequal effect of the eigenvalues. And again, in this particular case, when the eigenvalues are like this, they are repeating. So here what we have is these are eigenvalues with algebraic multiplicity same as geometric multiplicity, which is 2 in this particular case. Okay, so in such cases again the eigenvalues are stable and we classify them as stable node, because notice that the behavior of the trajectory is similar to what we had for negative distinct eigenvalues. Okay, as I label them as stable node. Now, in the case when the eigenvalues are repeated, so the two eigenvalues are same, okay, but the geometric multiplicity is less than algebraic multiplicity, okay, which is of course greater than equal to 1. In such cases, the trajectories may start from one section of the eigenvectors and may enter into different sections of the eigenvectors. Okay, so we cannot label here the equilibrium point as a node or not, but rather we can at least conclude in this particular case that this is a stable equilibrium point. Okay, because because in the neighborhood wherever you start, you have a trajectory. You always end up with trajectories that take you towards the equilibrium point for any initial condition, that you have here. Okay, in all possible directions. Okay, so this is a stable equilibrium point. The next case is when one of the eigenvalue is negative and one of the eigenvalue is positive. Okay, so in this particular case, what we see is the first eigenvalue is positive and the second eigenvalue is first eigenvalue is negative, which is -2, and the second eigenvalue is positive, which is +3. So if you observe, if you start, so what is the equilibrium point again? The equilibrium point is 0 0. So x equal to 0 0 is the equilibrium point. Now if you observe that for any initial condition which starts on the x1 axis here, okay, it will always stay on the x1 axis and the trajectory will move towards the origin. So for any initial condition it will always move towards the origin. But if you start at a point, let's say on the x2 axis, then it will stay on the x2 axis but will move away from the origin. Okay, so here also it stays on the x2 axis but it moves away from the origin. So along one axis, and please note that the x1 axis here is the eigenvector corresponding to -2 and the x2 axis here is the eigenvector corresponding to 3. Okay, so along the stable eigenvector, that is what we'll call for the x1 axis, because the trajectories along them are moving towards origin, and along the unstable eigenvector, which is x2 axis, because the trajectories there are moving away from origin. Okay, what you observe is if you start at any point other than the x1 and x2 axis, and if you start close to the x1 axis, then the trajectories initially will have a tendency to go towards the origin, and they will start moving. I mean, you see this, let's say that you started here, it will trace a path which is something like this. Okay, it will move away from the x1 axis and will move closer to the x2 axis as x2 approaches infinity. But observe that x1, no matter high value of what value of x1 you start, the value of x1 reduces and goes towards 0, and no matter how low the value of x2 is, it will start from a lower value and will go towards infinity. Also, these trajectories do not cross the section of the eigenvectors from which they have started. Okay, so they will always remain in their corresponding section. And if you also notice, their trajectories here that are being generated look like hyperbolas in their particular section. Okay, so there's a black hyperbola in the first quadrant, the red hyperbola in the second quadrant due to initial condition which was here. This trajectory as initial condition here, so this is the evolution that it has. The brown trajectory had an initial condition here and it moved like this. The black one had an initial condition here and it moves like this. Okay, so this equilibrium point 0 0, what do we call it? Do we call it a stable equilibrium point or unstable equilibrium point? This is an unstable equilibrium point because there is at least one direction in which you can find wherein the trajectories are moving away from the equilibrium point. Okay, so this is an unstable equilibrium point, but there is a peculiar nature that you have. In one direction it is going towards zero, while the other component is actually going towards infinity. Okay, along the eigenvectors. So such a equilibrium point is also known as a saddle point. So saddle points are essentially unstable equilibrium points. Okay, so the next uh, case is when you have complex eigenvalues, but the real part of the complex eigenvalues is zero, which means you have purely imaginary eigenvalues. For example, in this particular case, in case of purely imaginary eigenvalues, in this case the equilibrium point is again 0 0, which is the origin that I marked here. And what you see here is uh, the vector field indicates that you will have closed periodic orbits whose magnitudes are fixed and are dependent on where you start. For example, in this brown trajectory, let's say that you started at this point, so the radius of this circle that you will trace is going to be fixed at this. So this is the amplitude that you will have, and it will move in this direction. So this is a clockwise trajectory that you will track. Similarly, for the red, black, you will have this for the red, and then for the brown you will have a clockwise motion and the amplitude depending on the initial condition. So the amplitude remains fixed while you move in a closed non-intersecting orbit. Okay, now such a equilibrium point, but 0 0 is equilibrium point. So if you start at 0 0, you will stay at 0. So 0 0 is equilibrium point with is closed periodic orbits around it, with 0 0 as the center point of the phase portrait. Okay, so such a equilibrium point is known as center. Okay, and these are essentially those equilibrium points which we label as marginally stable, right? Now, but by the definition, as far as the states go, I mean, you can consider them to be stable because the trajectories will not move away, rather remain in a bounded distance. Okay, the point here is so moving on a closed periodic orbit means what? Oscillations. So the evolution of x1 and x2 with respect to time is such that they are oscillatory in nature. That is why when you plot x1 with x2, both of them essentially have both the trajectory is essentially a closed periodic orbit. Okay, now coming to the case when complex eigenvalues are such that the real part is negative. Now, because of this negative real part, what happens is the vectors which were, so here if you observe, because of the vectors, they are actually going to be, these vectors are perpendicular to the radius that you have. That is why you actually keep on moving in a circle. Because of a negative real part, these vectors now, so earlier, if this is the radius, then and this is the point of interest, this is origin, then the vector was of this form, which was 90 degree, making 90 degrees with the radius. Okay, now when a real part is negative, when the real part of the eigenvalues is negative, then the vectors will actually point like this, making a angle of this form, which means because of this pointing, they will have a tendency to move from one here. When they were perpendicular, if they start on a circle, they will remain on the circle, but because of this slight change in the direction, what happens is you start on a circle, and you will keep on moving in terms of a circle, so you'll have an oscillatory response, but notice that you are moving towards the inner circles, which means the amplitude keeps on dropping. So that is what you are seeing. For example, the black trajectory here, it started somewhere here, and because of the vectors, what it is doing is it is actually pointing inwards, and it is changing, going to smaller and smaller circles, due to which its distance from the origin reduces, and it finally reaches the origin as t approaches infinity. And notice here that the origin is again the equilibrium point. Okay. Similar thing happens for the red, green, and the brown trajectories as well, for their corresponding initial conditions. As the trajectory evolves, the distance from origin to a point on the trajectory keeps on reducing. Okay, the evolution of this trajectory is actually in the form of a logarithmic spiral, which essentially starts from one section and continuously keeps on passing through all other sections. So it will pass through, in this case, let's say it passes through, starts at first quadrant, then goes to the fourth quadrant, then third, then second, again first, then fourth, third, second, and so on. So it keeps on spiraling. Okay, and here the logarithmic spiral says that it spirals inward. Okay, so this is known as a stable focus. Okay, so far you should have noted that stability, as far as the eigenvalues are concerned, again, equilibrium points are stable if the corresponding eigenvalues are all negative, and the equilibrium points are unstable if the corresponding eigenvalues are such that one of them has positive real part. Right, here you see all of them are negative real part, so we have a stable equilibrium point. And because of the logarithmic spiral type of evolution for the trajectories in the phase plane, we name the equilibrium point as a stable focus. The exactly opposite phenomena happens when you have complex eigenvalues with positive real part. So in such a case, if you start close to the equilibrium point, which is again origin in this case, you actually spiral out. So the logarithmic spiraling is such that it spirals out and moves away from the equilibrium point. Okay, so the equilibrium point in such a case is said to be an unstable equilibrium point, and because of the logarithmic spiral nature, we tend to label it as a focus. So here we have a unstable focus. Okay, so observe the vector field also. From the vector field also, it looks like it is starting at very close to origin. You have a tendency to moving away, and it keeps on moving away. The similar thing is observed in a stable focus, wherein you start at some point and you see that the trajectories are actually such that the vectors are such that the trajectories will move towards the equilibrium point. Now, I suggest that you explore the following cases. Case 1, when lambda 1 is 0 but lambda 2 is not 0. Case 2, when lambda 1 equal to lambda 2 is 0 and the algebraic multiplicity is greater than geometric multiplicity. Case when lambda 1 and lambda 2 are 0 with am equal to gm equal to 2. Okay, for these three cases, I suggest that you check what can happen. So here lambda 2 can be negative or lambda 2 can be positive. So do check for the vector field and the solutions that you will have. So now let us see some examples for the nonlinear systems which are two dimensional. So here I have a nonlinear system where x is equal to x1 and x2. This is a real system that we have in hand, and the fx is described as given in the right hand side of the state equation. Um Now, if you observe what is happening, I mean, if you calculate the equilibrium point, what do you have about the equilibrium point? I think if you solve the equilibrium point in this case, would turn out to be the origin, and I plotted the vector field for x1 varying between -1 to 1 and x2 varying between -1 to 1. What I observe is for vectors inside the circle of radius 1 are such that they are pointing outwards from, let's see if I can zoom it. The vectors here, so this is the origin, and the vectors inside the circle of radius 1 are such that all of them are pointing away from the origin. So you see the trajectory started somewhere here and it is moving away from the origin as if it is spiraling out, but the spiraling ends once it reaches the circle, and then it starts moving on this particular circle. So essentially what you have is a equilibrium point which is 0 0, that is unstable, and a limit cycle. So for every point that starts inside this circle, it will never go close to the origin, rather it will move towards the circle of radius 1 centered at origin, and will always continue to keep on moving on this circle, but it reaches the circle, this particular circle, as time approaches infinity. Okay, if you are on the circle, you will keep on moving on the circle, you will never come out of the circle. Okay, now the benefit, what is the benefit that you see here? Observe the region outside the circle. Okay, you observe this particular region outside the circle. If you are already on the circle and due to some disturbance you move to some point here which is outside the circle, let's you move here, because of the vector fields associated with points outside the circle which are again pointing towards the circle, you will actually have a trajectory that will have a tendency to move towards the circle, but it will again reach the circle as time approaches infinity. It can come arbitrarily close to the circle and will move along the circle. So this is a case wherein the point is outside the circle, and you see here all the vectors that you have outside the circle of radius 1 centered at origin, they are all pointing towards, so if you trace the trajectory with the help of these vectors, they are pointing such that everyone will try to converge onto this circle. So for the initialization of this particular trajectory here, this keeps on moving like this and will come close to the circle of radius 1 centered at origin arbitrarily as t approaches infinity. Okay, so what we observe here is from the vector fields also, there is a origin, there is a equilibrium point which is at origin, and then there is a limit cycle as well, due to which all the trajectories will tend to. So this is what we have, is a stable limit cycle with a unstable equilibrium point. Okay, this is another example wherein if you see the vector field around the equilibrium point, where the equilibrium point again in this case is origin, one of the equilibrium points is origin. There are multiple equilibrium points, but we'll discuss as far as the origin is concerned what happens. So origin is the equilibrium point which we have here, and for any start that you have, it keeps on basically spiraling in towards the origin with x1 and reducing going towards 0 as t approaches infinity. Okay, that becomes evident with the example trajectory that I have shown on the right side of the figure. You actually start from a point here and you move along the trajectory like this, and if you see the distance of the point on the trajectory with the origin keeps on reducing, and finally you will reach the origin as t approaches infinity. Okay, I suggest that you find the vector field for this case in the region minus or rather in the region with x1 being in pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2 and x2 between, let's say, minus 2 to plus 2 or minus 1 to plus 1. Okay, in this range, try to see what the vector fields will look like and how the solutions will look like. So, but we'll not classify these equilibrium points as of now that we saw for the two nonlinear cases as a center or a focus or not. We can just classify whether the equilibrium points are stable or unstable. So here we have a stable equilibrium point, whereas in the previous case we had a unstable equilibrium point. Okay. The classification of node and focus, we'll do it when we see linearization, and we'll see on the basis of linearization how can we conclude whether a equilibrium point for a nonlinear system can be classified as node or focus or center or a saddle or not. Okay, so we'll stop our discussion here today. Thank you.